Have you ever wondered what really goes on behind the cameras of your favorite reality TV shows? Especially, when faith, family, and public image are all tangled up together? Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're taking a deep dive into Kody Brown's tell-all book, Sister Wives, a memoir of faith, family, and finding freedom. This book promises to pull back the curtain on years of speculation. It confirms rumors and really exposes the inner workings of the Brown family and the show itself.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here isn't just the, let's say, juicy details, but seeing how Kody's perspective evolved, how she peeled back the layers of what was truly happening behind the scenes. This isn't just a memoir. It's an inside look at how reality television can shape and honestly even distort real relationships. It really blurs the lines, between what's real and what's performance.
Right. So our mission for you, our curious listener, is to unpack the most, surprising revelations and try to understand how this family's public story often diverged so wildly from their private reality. Get ready for some serious aha moments about the pressures of living life constantly on camera. Let's jump right into a pretty explosive claim Kody makes early on, that much of Sister Wives was a complete fraud. How does she actually describe the show's production? What does this suggest about the authenticity we thought we were seeing?
Well, Kody peels back the layers to show us not just a reality show, but a highly, manufactured reality. We can connect this to the bigger picture. She describes a filming process that was incredibly structured, almost like a corporate project, really. She reveals how these big family events were essentially pre-planned. They became the core segments they filmed each season.
Wow.
And then all the other interviews, the promotional stuff, that was all scheduled around these central events. It paints a picture where their lives weren't just observed, but actively constructed for the camera.
So it wasn't just showing up for a scene. It was the very fabric of their interactions, their relationships, being shaped by the production schedule. How deep did this staging go? Were even the really pivotal emotional moments affected?
That's precisely it. She makes it pretty clear that their relationships largely played out on camera. Off camera, Kody was reportedly, almost exclusively with Robin, and the wives often didn't see each other much, except when they were actually filming. Kody even says her interactions with Robin were only on camera.
Only on camera. Wow.
Yeah, and yes, even those deeply emotional moments were often reenacted. Kody explicitly reveals that her breakup conversation with Kody, that huge moment viewers saw, that was a pre-recorded segment, specifically for the show.
No way! After it had already happened.
Exactly. Despite the fact the actual breakup had already happened multiple times off camera, she details how Kody had seen her moving his boxes, knew she'd moved him out, but then for the cameras, he pretended to her face that he didn't know she was leaving.
That's just incredible.
It was a complete restaging of something that had already gone down in private.
That sounds incredibly draining. I mean, to relive such a painful moment for the cameras. And it wasn't just Kody performing, right? It sounds like this whole performative thing extended to the other wives, too. Kody mentions Mary's reaction to her leaving as being ridiculous and inauthentic. What's the story there?
Right. Kody says that Mary, who appeared shocked and annoyed on camera, acting like it was brand new information, she'd actually been told by Kody beforehand. Kody made a point of calling both Janelle and Mary personally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to tell them she was leaving, specifically so they wouldn't be blindsided during filming. So Mary's on-screen surprise, completely fabricated, a performance for this show.
Which really highlights that intense pressure, doesn't it, to keep the drama going for the cameras?
Exactly, the pressure to maintain that scripted narrative.
Okay, so if the show itself was heavily influenced by production, what was really driving things behind the scenes? Did Kody identify maybe a darker reason for Kody's behavior beyond just reality TV demands?
She suggests that pulling back the curtain on the fakery also reveals a much darker underlying motivation for Kody: pure greed. Kody is quite direct about it. She claims Kody strung along Mary, Janelle, and herself primarily because he was greedy.
Greedy.
Yeah. He needed to keep the show going for the money and the fame it brought. This desire not to lose his money pot of gold, as she puts it, allegedly led to him becoming increasingly abusive, trying to manipulate them into staying just to keep the show viable.
That's a really heavy accusation. And this manipulation for money, it wasn't just about the show itself. It bled into other parts of their lives, too.
Exactly. She specifically accuses Kody and Robin of actively manipulating Mary, making her believe reconciliation was possible, all, Kody says, to get the proceeds from the sale of Mary's Las Vegas home. And she suggests a similar manipulation happened with Janelle, aiming to secure her money for his own purposes. Christine ultimately just hit her breaking point with this financial stuff.
Right.
She stated really clearly she wouldn't pretend so you can profit off of this.
Good for her. It really underscores the sort of moral compromise she felt was happening.
Definitely.
Okay, let's shift a bit to the internal family dynamics. The book paints a very specific picture of Kody's character, especially after Robin joined. It sounds like there was a really significant and detrimental shift in how he interacted with everyone else.
Christine describes a profound and, damaging change in Kody's behavior. She claims Kody reportedly just deserts everyone to spend all his time with Robin, neglecting his other kids, his other wives. His core philosophy, she reveals, was, I move from pain to pleasure.
Pain to pleasure. What does that even mean in practice?
It meant if he saw a situation with one of his wives or families as painful, basically, anything less than perfect or not exactly how he liked it, he'd just withdraw. He'd leave and seek the pleasure he found, usually with Robin.
That's a stark way to approach relationships. So any discomfort, any little imperfection, and he'd just leave.
What were his demands for this perfect environment that would make him abandon his other families?
Precisely. Christine details these very specific, often pretty unreasonable demands. He'd require specific dinners, which she describes as not normal food for their family. The house had to be, spick and span, perfectly clean. And everyone, including the children, needed to be on their best behavior and basically treat him like a king. It sounds less like a plural marriage and more like a perpetually exhausting job interview just to get his approval.
Walking on eggshells constantly.
Totally. If those demands weren't met, he'd simply leave. Go wherever he felt things were perfect, which usually meant Robin's house.
And the emotional manipulation sounds incredibly taxing. How did Christine describe the long-term psychological impact of always striving for this impossible ideal? Oh, it was incredibly damaging. Christine recounts Kody telling her things like, I don't love you because you're not lovable, be more lovable. And this wasn't just a one-off comment, it was a pattern.
That's awful.
Yeah, he would constantly set these little guardrails and goalposts for her to meet to earn his love, only to then change them or make them impossible once she got close. Plus, he frequently used withholding attention, withholding affection as a punishment, especially if she dared raise concerns about their marriage or his actions.
Creating this cycle of insecurity and self-doubt for her.
Absolutely. It deeply affected her sense of worth, her agency.
So this raises an important question. How did Robin fit into all this? Christine doesn't really mince words about how she saw Robin's role, does she?
No, she doesn't. While Christine ultimately puts the blame squarely on Kody for his actions, she details Robin's significant manipulative behaviors, too. She describes how Robin would pit him against the other wives, twisting conversations, twisting information just to get Kody upset with Christine, and then she'd run to him to tattle.
Creating constant tension and distrust.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It made Kody's home life increasingly difficult for everyone else involved.
And she even claimed she could speak Kody, like she had some special insight the other wives, after decades, somehow lacked.
Yes, Christine found that intensely irritating. The idea that wives who'd been with Kody for decades needed Robin as a translator for his thoughts or feelings. Robin would often just parrot what Kody had already said. Christine really believed Robin significantly influenced his behavior towards her, even if sometimes she admits it was in a good way. But Christine makes her position very clear. I wasn't married to Kody and Robin, just Kody. And Robin wasn't my counselor.
Right, highlighting how inappropriate and meddling Robin's interference felt.
Definitely. Christine also points out Kody started using terms like covenant and agreement more to emphasize his word as law. He became increasingly worried about loyalty and control as the patriarch. She also notes Kody spent a lot of time reading negative online comments about himself, which she thinks made his outlook more fear-based.
Driving that need for control.
Yeah. And intensify the pressure on everyone to just conform to his demands.
And this manipulation, it extended to their children too, not just the wives. Kody's preoccupation with his image really affected his parenting.
Absolutely. It's quite heartbreaking, actually. Christine writes about Kody refusing to go to their daughter Isabel's surgery. His reason. He claimed he couldn't be away from his family, meaning Robin and her kids, for 3 weeks. But then later, when Hunter and Aspen traveled to be with Isabel in New Jersey, Kody reportedly got angry.
Angry? Why?
Not out of genuine concern, apparently,
Yeah.
but because their presence made him look bad for not being there himself. It was just a stark example of his preoccupation with image management over, actual fatherly care.
Wow. Okay, so the book isn't just about Kody and Robin or the show's fakery. It's really a deep dive into Christine's personal journey, her evolving perspective, her decision to leave. It sounds like she found a real sense of self-discovery.
Yeah, Christine's journey is such a powerful thread throughout the book. She explicitly states, "I really just like me tons better not living with them." She recounts feeling master over my own world back in the cul-de-sac days, feeling confident in being a mom. She does admit that in the early years she felt steamrolled and bulldozed by everyone around her and didn't stand up for herself enough.
So that transformation from feeling powerless to mastering her own world, that's huge.
Incredibly significant.
What were the key catalysts for her waking up, as she put it? Realizing she was being manipulated, especially regarding her faith, that was so central to her life.
A major wake-up call for Christine was learning about child sexual assault allegations happening within her own church. This was something she had, her words, always decried about other groups like the FLDS. The thought of that kind of thing happening in her spiritual home, potentially affecting her own kids, it just deeply shook her, made her question everything.
And it wasn't just that one devastating revelation, right? The church itself had other major issues.
Absolutely. It wasn't a single event. Christine details how church leaders were accused of embezzling over $1 million from an actor named Virgin Hill. There was even a civil court ruling in the actor's favor. She also found the new replacement leaders overly strict, even dictating Kody's hair length, claiming Jesus had a crew cut, or forbidding earrings.
Wow. Micromanaging.
Exactly. The focus shifted, she says, from actual scriptural doctrine to just following past prophets. It created an environment that felt less about faith and more about arbitrary rules and control that further eroded her trust.
So what did all this mean for her faith and her ultimate decision to leave Kody after all those years? How did these revelations shift her core beliefs?
Well, this exposure to hypocrisy and, frankly, harm within her spiritual community fundamentally changed her. She started questioning fundamental beliefs, the whole idea that God said men are in charge, even the articles of faith themselves. Realizing the leaders had no authority over her, she didn't seek their permission for her divorce.
She just did it.
She just did it. She recognized the family had publicly defended their church against comparisons to groups like the FLDS, while privately knowing their own church has similar problems. Operating in secrecy like a petri dish, she says, where true evil could exist, because nothing external could get in to stop it. This whole deconstruction of her faith became deeply tied to her decision to reclaim her own autonomy.
It sounds like a really profound journey of self-discovery, even with some admitted naivety on her part, which shows how deeply ingrained those beliefs were.
Yeah, she openly acknowledges her own naivety. She gives this example of using oxycodone for 2 weeks after knee surgery. Even though she didn't finish the prescription, she felt addicted because in her culture, she explains, any sort of substance is a sin. And using substances to escape is a sin. It's a powerful example, right? It reveals her internal struggle with these deeply ingrained beliefs, this cultural conditioning, even as she's actively pulling away from them. It shows just how pervasive those influences were.
Ultimately, it sounds like she reached a breaking point. She just couldn't continue the charade anymore, both in the marriage and on the show.
She absolutely did. She recounts that she just got tired of playing the game and having to monitor what she said all the time. That marked the turning point. It allowed her to finally leave what she describes as this exhausting, constantly on existence, especially since she never knew what we would dissect on the set during filming.
That freedom from constant scrutiny from performing, that must have been paramount.
It seems like it. And it really speaks to the immense strength it takes to break free from a life like that.
Wow. So, okay, what does this all mean for you, our listener, processing all these revelations from Christine's deep dive into her memoir?
Well, Christine Brown's memoir offers this rare, really candid glimpse into the complex intersection of faith, family, and reality TV. It forces us, I think, to question the narratives we consume and to really consider the hidden pressures, the manipulations, the profound personal costs behind these public personas we see.
Yeah, this deep dive reveals not just the mechanics of how a reality show can be, well, a complete fraud, as she put it, but the human cost of living a life that's constantly being curated for an audience. It's a powerful reminder that what we see on screen is often just a carefully constructed facade.
Right. designed to manage perception, secure loyalty, maybe achieve a specific outcome, like financial gain.
Mm-hmm.
And this raises an important question, doesn't it? How much of what we accept as reality, in any context, from public figures we follow to maybe even our own social circles, might actually be a performance? A performance designed to manage perception or achieve a specific goal, whether that's money, status, or even just avoiding discomfort.
That's a heavy thought.
Oh.
Christine's journey, though, from feeling steamrolled and bulldozed to finding her freedom, it really is a testament to the power of personal awakening. Even when you're facing these deep-seated cultural and familial pressures, it shows the incredible strength it takes to break free when a life is no longer serving your true self.
Absolutely. A powerful story of reclaiming oneself.
So as you reflect on Christine's story, we leave you with this thought. When the camera stops rolling, who are we really being? And who are we allowing others to be, without the pressure of an audience or a pre-written script or that constant need to manage perception? A huge thanks for joining us on this deep dive.